Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Joel from Easy Engineering, and welcome back to another video. So today I did say that I was gonna do a live stream, but my drivers pretty much just failed on me. So you're also gonna have to just excuse the latency, the buffering throughout this video, as I'm still trying to repair everything, and I think it's just because my interface is getting really old, which is why you should always look for a good interface, one that has good latency compensation and whatnot. I did a video on it, but I think I'll talk more about it later on. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I promised to do a live stream yesterday. Things didn't really go my way, but I went ahead and decided to try and keep writing the track that I was busy writing, and this is what I came up with. It's very Anjuna Deep styled, inspired, and I thought I'd just take a few minutes to run through the track and tell you what's include, like what elements there are and what I've done, and what I've done to the track. So let me play it from the break, maybe. Cool. So yeah, that kind of gives you a feel for the track and what style we were going for when this was made. Now let me just talk through the elements quickly. So let's start obviously with the kick. It's just a kick sample that has been processed a little bit using drum bus, EQ, and compressor. See, you can hear the buffering over there. I've got an auto filter just to kind of it's on this one. I used an auto filter on this one, which is just following the notes of this snare roll over here. So the cool thing you can do with Ableton is, if you have an audio track and you want it to get the MIDI out of it, all you have to do is drag and drop onto a MIDI with an instrument on it. Not bad. And it will ask you harmony, melody, or drums. Now these are drums, so obviously I just did drums, and it will kind of pick up the transients of all the audio the audio file and put them into MIDI clips. So that's what I just did over here for this one. I separated because I wanted a kick on the beginning of this bar over here while this comes in. So I've got a nice low pass filter just sweeping up. And you can hear it's following the same pattern. Cool, yeah, and that's the build up to the drop over there. Anyway, back to the kick. So yeah, pretty much just simple 4 to the floor kind of beat with some just a little bit of changes at the end of each bar. Now some processing, just the drum bus, just to bring out the punch a bit, the low and the deepness, and just EQ8 and a compressor just to tighten up the sound. Now usually a lot of people will sidechain their kicks, sidechain that's sounds to the kick. What I've done here is I've created a ghost channel of the kick just fall to the floor, and I'm using this one as my sidechain trigger. Next we can go and talk about the bass. So I've got two layers of bass over here. I've got two sub basses. Each have different patterns, but they're following the same chord progression. So the first one is just nice kind of soy sub bass that's been processed. So I've got two sines over here, pretty much at the same octave. What I've done in operator is I've actually transposed the entire pitch down by 24, which just gives me more, I don't know, I guess you can say headroom on pitch with regards to the oscillators that I'd use. So just two saws, two sines and a saw wave with a low pass filter. And I think I have just a tiny bit of envelope modulation on over here. And that's it pretty much for the bass. Then I've kind of gone in and just EQ'd it a bit using FabFilter Pro Q2, Saturn, and then I've just kind of multi-band compressed the low ends just a little bit, because obviously these two frequencies, these two sounds will be sharing the same frequency range, so you kind of want to make it less muddy and you want to clean it up a little bit. So I've used a multi-band compression to do that, just to compress this region of frequencies over here while this one's playing, just to kind of get a balance of tonality and frequency content between the two. What else have I done is I've added a sidechain compressor. This is going to my sidechain channel, and I've just added a utility just to bring it back into mono, just in case, just to kind of keep this bass mono. On the second bass, which sounds like this, it's literally just a sine wave, just a little bit of envelope modulation, again pitch down, transpose down -24, and I can just have a little bit more control of the pitch of the sine. This is the beginning of the phrase rather, and then also just a filter envelope modulation. Nothing too major with this, just a simple sine wave sub bass. Now I've EQ'd it quite harshly using Pro Q2 just to kind of zone in on the frequency content that I want, just to kind of again clean up the space between these two basses and obviously the kick. So that's kind of where I've zoned in on the second sub bass for. Next I've used the drum bus just to kind of just bring out that sub bass a bit more, and then I've compressed the signal just to kind of make it a little bit more tighter, and then again sidechained to my sidechain channel. This is what it sounds like, kick and bass together. Cool. Yeah, next what I've done is I've just kind of glue compressed my group channel, my kick and bass, and also just EQ'd it a bit just for the sounds to sit more tighter and to make them sound like they're one unit rather than kind of three individual sounds trying to compete for the same frequency space. Sorry. Yeah, it just kind of adds a little bit more tightness, cleanliness to that low end frequency area. Next we can talk about the percussion. The percussion is I'm still working on it a little bit more, but essentially I've used the drum rack with a load of different samples, and I should actually go in and talk about this one sound that I made. I think it's this one. Is it not this one? It'll be this one here. So now this is just a simple bongo sound playing off a certain pattern over here. Here's the pattern. What I've done is I've EQ'd it, I've compressed it. No, that's not it, sorry. That is the main processing settings for the drum rack. Anyway, what I've done is I've added a random, put it into a minor pentatonic scale just to keep things in scale. what this is doing is kind of just moving up and down on the different notes, which, as you can hear, it's kind of changing the pitch a little bit in a random way while keeping it to scale. I've got an auto pan over here, and then I've got an LFO. This is the LFO that is modulating the transpose. As you can see, it's kind of going up in a very random way, but because we have it in a minor pentatonic scale, it's still staying into key, so it's not going to sound out of key within the whole mix. Next, in EQ8, just to kind of EQ out some unwanted frequencies, I've put on a delay, which is also just being modulated with an LFO, just the dry wet signal. And this is the fun part, is the beat repeat. This is what's giving it all that very kind of varied glitchy sounds to it. So I just messed about for a while to find some settings that I liked and that flowed very nicely with the rest of the percussion and the track, and then obviously just added some reverb and some compression just to tighten it up. I chose to do the compression after the reverb because I wanted to compress the reverb signal because there's a lot of, you know, trance-like sounds going on. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of reverb within the room. So I just wanted to kind of compress that signal just to make it kind of sit tighter and make it as if it's its own sound rather than, you know, the reverb going everywhere. So yeah, obviously I've got different patterns just throughout the track within my percussion. You know, I've just got that over there as an intro. I've got a shaker over here, which I've kind of basically used the velocity MIDI effect to just randomize the velocity of each hit, just to kind of give it a bit more movement. Also added a beat repeat and just a slight delay to it. As you can see, I've changed it from sync to time. Just filtered out some frequencies that I didn't want in it and EQ'd that, and just let it play throughout the track, as just this long bit over here, as you can see. And then I'll bring in some more hi-hats and then a clap. So the key to this kind of music is to have 4 or 5 really nice solid lead sounds, pad sounds, to kind of evolve throughout the track, and then having some really intricate type percussion playing around throughout the track, and then taking some of the percussion out, adding some in, and just having fun with it within the, you know, where you are within the track. So obviously you want to build it up. Cool. Let's talk about the leads before I talk about just these impacts that I have over here, just to kind of carry through the track and, you know, obviously add in that transitional effect throughout the track. The key to this is to just find samples or create sounds that mix well with the vibe of the track. You don't want harsh type impacts if you're going for more melodic tropical type style. This is very trancey, so it can have those kind of strong impacts, like I think this one over here. No, it's not that one. This one. This is why you label things. This is the one here. It's quite harsh, impactful, alongside, you know, that, and then another crash. Then just a nice white noise panning down, or just, sorry, not panning down, kind of dropping out, you know, to add that kind of momentum feel. Yeah. What I've done over here with this one is I've actually modulated my sidechain compression. As you can see, I've got it routed to the sidechain channel, and starting off very lightly, it gets stronger as the sound moves on. And again, just some reverb. It's nice to put quite a bit of reverb on certain impacts that you think will work. So with this one, I think took a small sample of this one over here, dropped it into a new channel, and then just added a reverb, and then froze and flattened that tune just to get the initial impact of this. These ones are just samples that have been chopped and added some reverb, some bit of effects, and flattened, and then panned to the left and the right, just to add some width to the sound. So just a crash with some reverb. Can probably actually go in and just get rid of some of the low end over there. Cool. Mentioned that one already, and I've just got a rise, very subtle rise over here, just made in Serum. Very nice, very nice. It really helps with that kind of tension building, tension and release. All right, cool. Now onto the leads. I mean, there's, I would say this is a mixture of leads and pads and just effects. So I've got this one effect over here. I wanted to go for a quite nice trance, euphoric Anjuna Deep style track. So I knew Nexus is really good with that because it's just got that trance feel to it. A lot of the presets within it are very trance-like, and they just fit this style of music really nicely. So what we've gone in, we've taken a preset and then just kind of moved the parameters around to suit what I was looking for. So this sound is actually the same as the main lead, but because we're kind of going in and modulating some of the stuff, like you can see over here, this is the pad sound. What I still need to do is go in and automate this in a more intuitive way. So kind of key map or MIDI map some of the parameters to my MIDI keyboard, and then just play the track through, and then just have fun with it and do it as if it's live. It just gives a more organic feel or more organic touch to the track, rather than what I've done over here and gone in and just kind of drawn it in. It just sounds too robotic, and it's just much nicer to kind of get this kind of effect. So what I've done is done it for my supporting pad, my main pad, and this is just kind of like an ARP effect that plays throughout the track. Yeah, I like it. It's very quite dark and aggressive, but it suits the very uplifting, monumental sounds that we've been going for. So I talk about the main lead over here. So it's just, again, there's a few things that we're modulating, and I think this is important, is to find a nice simple sound, because all of these sounds are very simple. There's not much to them. They're just very broad, big, wide, a lot of kind of width to them. Maybe 4 oscillators have been used to make the sound, and then you just kind of process it a bit, add a dynamic tube just to bring out some of the rich harmonics, another saturator, just to boost the overall harmonics again. I've gone in and EQ'd the sound a bit, and then just sidechain compressed it to my sidechain channel. But like I said, I still need to go in and kind of get a nice good modulation throughout the track. To be honest, we use the same sounds for the lead and the pad, but the way we've the way we've changed the sound within the preset, it kind of suits it much better within the pad. So what we've done is we've just raised the release, you kind of modulate the decay and the cutoff, and just added a reverb to the sound. Now we've got some beginning chords over here that just follow the same main lead, and then when we get to the break, we've changed the pads up a little bit, just to kind of obviously make things less stagnant, and just bring something new to the track. And obviously throughout the story you want things to change, you don't want things to stay the same. The supporting pad is just different preset that we use that we just again modulated and processed a bit. I've added a chorus, which is being the dry and wet is being modulated or controlled by this LFO, just to kind of add a little bit more movement to the pad. And then again just sidechained this pad to my main kick sidechain channel. And that's pretty much the sounds really. I did try and make a sound over here in Serum, but I mean the pattern is good, but we're just need to find the right kind of sound to suit the track, just to kind of give a bit more direction of where the track is going. Then the last lead that we bring in here is just another pattern that's it's not following the same pattern as the main lead, but it still kind of works well together. They kind of communicate nicely. So yeah, here's the second lead is just this nice piano sound. And then on the main drop we bring in the same pattern, just using a different sound. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I think there could be maybe one more sound that we can add in, like over here, like I said, with Serum, just to kind of create two different parts of the story: the beginning and the end. You got to think of it like a story. You know, you got the intro, you got the build up, you got the break, and then you got the drop, or the main drop, or the crescendo, where everything kind of comes in, and you've got all your elements, the main build up. So each part is telling a different part of the story. And I think it's important to not make things get stagnant, and always try and evolve your sounds, or try and come up with new sounds that fit the old sounds, just to kind of move the story along. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it for the track, for the sounds that we've used, the sounds that is included, and then obviously just some movement throughout the track, just to kind of add some variety to the track, so it's not so boring. So yeah, very cool. I'm really happy with the results. I'm just upset that I wasn't able to stream this whole process yesterday. But I hope I've kind of covered everything that I've had to. If there's a sound in here that you want me to go into in more detail, then just leave a comment down below. But yeah, I thought it'd be nice to just kind of go through what I've tried to do and just give you a rundown on how to try and kind of get a similar style of track to Anjuna Deep. I mean, such amazing music. I was just listening to it, the past few days. It's really inspired me to try and make something similar, and then obviously try and give you guys a breakdown on how to do it yourself. So anyway, I mean, I think the key to take away from here is that less is more, and you don't want to overfill your track with sounds. You just want 4 or 5 very simple sounds or very nice sounding leads and pads that work well together, and then kind of evolve them and change them, not just sonically but also musically throughout the track, just to kind of really boost that level of I don't know, maybe excitement or storytelling throughout your track, and so your track doesn't get boring and something always new and exciting is happening. I mean, the key to do that is obviously with your percussion too, to just kind of tell where the momentum and energy is coming and going. And then yeah, just kind of get a little bit creative with your percussion or your sounds. Add a beat repeat, add some delay, add some reverb, change things up and see how it goes. But anyway, yeah, just I think I'll leave the video there. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment down below. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, I've got a lot of video ideas that I want to try and get through. But if you want to see more of these kind of, building a track and doing a rundown or breakdown on how I've made this track or how I made the sounds, again, leave a comment down below. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys later.